and welcome to Easy Play Piano. In this lesson, we'll be looking at how to create beautiful piano improvisation with just one simple trick to sound top-notch. If you're feeling confused about how to arrange chords and want to feel confident improvising at the piano in any social situation, don't miss your chance to sign up for a free consultation below and let's chat. I'll leave a link down below in the description box. I help people just like you go from confused and confident to improvise at the piano in any social setting. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a lesson. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let's start out really simple, just with the C major triad. The notes are C, E, and G. So if for reference, this is middle C, this is where you should be sitting right in front of your piano. And we're simply going to play the chord, all three notes together, and then we're going to break it up like this. So blocked chord, C major, and then let's break it up. C, E, and G. Play that through a few times until you feel comfortable. Because from here, this is going to be our base from which we're going to start and build and layer in our improvisation. So here we have our chord. We're going to play it broken up. So C, E, and G, and then play the blocked chord again. And before you move on to the next variation of this chord, remember the notes we're starting from are C, E, and G. Now, the way to begin to alter the chord, we're going to start with just altering one note. And the note we're going to alter is we're going to move our finger, which third finger is on E, we're going to move that down to D. So the chord now, the notes in the chord are C, D, and G. So play it through and listen to the difference. So the original chord, the C major chord, was C, E, and G. Again, we're going to move our third finger, which is playing the E, down to D, and this now is becoming our new chord. So C, D, and G. It's already beautiful already with just that one simple movement of the note from E to D. So for a bit more clarification, let's look at the notes that create, or the notes in between the C major chord. So you have C, D, E, F, and G. So again, the only note we're changing is the second note, the D. We're moving from the E to the D. So let's look at it one more time. And this time we're going to play the chords back to back so you can really see and hear the difference. So we have the C major chord, C, E, and G. Again, you're just going to move your third finger down to D. Okay, all you're doing is altering the E to the D. And there you have your first chord that you can apply to your improvisation. Now that we have our new chord under our fingertips, now we're going to start adding and creating and adding layers and variations to this very simple chord. So let's go back to now our new chord, which is C, D, and G. Now, don't be overwhelmed if you are new at reading notes. I'm going to show you a really simple trick, a way to actually even up-level this chord further. So start with your basic chord, C, D, and G. And you're simply going to take these two notes, the C and the D, and you're going to move them up to the next octave. So imagine you have these two notes, keep your finger on the G, and all you're going to do is take these two notes and play them an octave higher. Okay, and in music we call this inversion, but if that's too much, don't worry about it. Just remember, you're going to take these two notes and move them to the next octave. Keep your pinky down on the G, and I'm just crossed my hands over just to give you a reference point. So all you're going to do again is just move the C and D up an octave. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to practice this a couple times. So start with your bass chord, C, D, G, and move it up to the next octave and go back down and play this back and forth until you really feel comfortable. Because actually this in itself is a great base to create your improvisation. If you want to not invert the chord, you can also just simply keep it right here. Just play this chord over and over again. But what I want to encourage you to do is start adding and creating a variation with your left hand. Now here I have just a pattern. So all I'm doing is I'm just playing the C, G, and D. Okay, and you can also just play the C. And then I'm moving the pattern to an A in my left hand, and then I'm going to move it to an F, and then to a G. Okay, so I will leave a link down below in the description box if you're looking for a video that will show you how to create left hand patterns. But for now, if this is too advanced for you, simply just play the C, the A, the F, and the G. Now our right hand is simply just going to repeat our new chords. So C, D, and G. So let's try it. I'll play it really slow, and please try and play along with me. To the A, to the F, up to the G. Okay, so we have played the same chord over and over again, and this is just an amazing and easy way for you to begin improvising. So I've simply played this pattern in my left hand, but you can play anything you like in your left hand and just keep the chord steady in your right hand. So there are a couple tricks that we can do that can level up our improvisation. And one of the tricks, and a really easy way, is to add articulation. And this is what we call an arpeggiation. So if you see that little squiggly line in the music in front of you, all we're going to do, instead of playing the chord blocked, means all the notes together, we're going to roll the chord up. So we're going to play C, D, G. Then we're going to invert the chord like we practiced earlier, and we're going to roll it. We're going to arpeggiate it, and then we're going to roll the chord again. Okay, and this adds a lovely little bit of pattern variation. So let's listen one more time. We're going to arpeggiate the chord, roll it up, invert it, roll it up, and roll it. All right, so let's talk about this new improvisation. So we're still looking at the chord that we played earlier. Remember when we took the C and the D and we inverted it up here? We're doing the same thing, but we're going to extend and we're going to make a pattern from the chord. So if you are newer to improvisation and piano, don't worry about the left hand. I'm simply playing the notes that we played earlier in the previous example in the left hand. So if you need a moment, just practice with me, just the right hand, and then add in the left hand. So we're going to start with C, D, G, D, G, D. Then we're going to play our left hand with the A, right hand plays G, C, D, C, D, G. So all we're doing is we're just outlining these two chords and adding that top G. So let's try it one more time. And you can do this to any chord. It's so easy to invert and then just simply break up the chord just like that. So here's another great way that you can add even more flavor to your improvisation. So before, when we inverted the chord, we always inverted ascending, meaning going up towards the top end of our keyboard. But you don't always have to do that. You can also flip the G down below the C and the D. So instead of flipping the C and the D up here, flip the G down to the G below middle C. Now, something you can also do is you can alternate between the C and the D and the G, and then alternate between the D and the G and the C. It's the same chord. We're just inverting, just like that. It's the same notes, just invert it again, up to the D and the G, okay? We're going to add the left hand. Again, if you are newer to improvisation, don't worry about it. You can also just simply keep your left hand on C, or you can follow along with me and use what I'm showing you as inspiration. So we're just going to play the C and the D, down to the G, up to the D and the G, D and the G, up to the octave, C and D to the G, and then up again to the D and the G. Okay, let's try it one more time a little bit faster. So in this example that I just played for you, I've mixed and matched all of the different ways that you can play the simple chord, the C, D, and the G. So for example, I'll walk you through this, and again, I want you to make this your own. Remember, you can play this chord pattern in any key signature. You can add different patterns in your left hand. Again, this is simply to inspire you, and please make it your own. So all I'm doing here in the first measure is I'm just playing the outline of the chord, C, D, G, D. Now I'm going to go back in and play the D and the G together. Now I'm going to shift my left hand to the G. I'm going to outline the chord again. Remember, I'm just moving my position up to the next octave. Now you notice here, instead of playing the C first, I'm simply playing the D and the G, and then I'm going back in and adding the C and the D. Here I have the same chord. I'm again just playing the outline first, the G and the C, and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add the D and the G, and I'm going to repeat that, and then I'm just going to hover around that D and the C, and that adds a little bit of tension, which brings us back to the final measure in this example, playing the D and the G. So when you put this section together, it leaves the listener sort of wondering, well, where are they going to go next? So when you play, all I'm doing is just repeating the same thing up in this octave, down to the lower octave, and you can change your left hand to suit whatever sounds good to you. Now here we have something a little bit different. So up until this point, it's as if we've been always moving in the upward direction. So now we're going to start actually at the top end of our keyboard, because if you remember back to earlier in the lesson, we had started around the C major, the central position, but this time we're going to start way up high. So here's middle C, go up the octave to the next octave, and we're going to play that C and D together. And we're going to slowly play still the outline of the chord, but we're going to be moving down towards the lower end of the keyboard. So we're going to be moving down the range. C, same chord, just changing my left hand. And also you can actually start your song this way if you want to. And so you can kind of come in from the top and then move towards the lower range. Now I've left this measure intentionally blank because I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about how would you use the chord that we've just learned to set the mood. So would you start at a top range? You can set a mood like this. Okay, so there's many different things you can do with this chord. But the great thing about this is you can start with the chord that we learned and you can use it to introduce a song, whether you're talking to introduce the piece like I'm doing here, or let's say you're playing for a singer or you're singing yourself and you simply want to set the mood. So use the chord that we just learned, improvise it, break it up, arpeggiate it, okay, and then you can use it to introduce a song. Okay, just as an example. The other great thing you can do with this chord is, let's say you're playing one particular piece. So, and then you want to connect this chord to a different song. So what you're going to do is you're going to play the chords that we just learned together and use this as a filler between two pieces. So let me show you. So for example, let's play a little bit of the Piano Man. Okay, so we're at the end of this piece. Then I'm going to fill. You can even slow down the tempo, fill it in to your next song. Okay, so I took one piece, The Piano Man, which is very different in character, used my filler, right? My filler chord, and then I shifted to a piece, Always by Atlantic Starr, which has a different rhythm, has a different emotional appeal, completely different. But when you use these chords to improvise, you can use them as a filler between one song to the next. Congratulations, you've completed this lesson. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next lesson.